She was born Betty Joan Persky on September the 16th, 1924 in Brooklyn, New York, and has gone on to become one of Hollywood's greatest leading ladies. She starred in over 29 films, numerous Broadway plays, and has won countless awards, including 2 Tonys. But perhaps her most satisfying role was off-screen as the devoted wife of the legendary actor Humphrey Bogart. Ladies and gentlemen, Lauren Bacall. Here we go.
Thank you. Oh, now I must clip myself.
Yes, just perfect. Is that
Fabulous.
a correct statement? But perhaps her most satisfying role was off-screen as the devoted wife of the legendary actor Humphrey Bogart?
Well, who wrote that?
I didn't, so say what you like.
No, but it wasn't a role, in actual fact. It's somebody dramatizing.
One of life's roles, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was certainly satisfying, yes. Though I certainly was not perfect, as who is in life. But it was, no, it was a role I enjoyed very much, obviously. It was my choice.
There, you know, I was thinking there's a double-edged sword when you have such an extraordinary, great love, as you obviously had, and you lose it. Having had one of the greatest things in the world, no one can follow it, and how do you go on and replace it? It really is tough to have had.
Well, you know, it's tough to have had it at 20, because then you have the rest of your life ahead of you without it. But I don't think you can ever replace it, and I never thought, well, I guess at the very beginning I thought in terms of continuity somehow, with someone, somehow. But I don't think I ever thought of replacing Bogey. I don't think it's possible, or of duplicating that same feeling. You never can. I mean, there's nothing like your first love anyway. Isn't there? Is there, ladies?
And sometimes some of us are fortunate to have a great love. Not everybody has the great love in their life. You know?
And some people have it more than once, actually. Maybe not the great, but a very good one. And so, I don't know, maybe the best is yet to come. What do I know? Innocent bystander, you know.
Do you watch his old films sometimes now? And
sometimes, not often. I don't live a lot in the past. I mean, you know, Bogey has become so much a part of my thinking, even unbeknownst to myself, that, and he's a part of I mean, I'll always be connected to him. So I don't dwell on it a lot. But when I'm home and I'm doing something else and I've got the television on and I sometimes hear a familiar sound, I go, oh, wait a minute, I know what that is. Yeah. I know what that is. And I go and take a peek and see what it is, because, see, if it's me, I'm not crazy about watching myself at all.
Not a pleasant experience?
No, not at all. Not at all.
What do you think when you see yourself?
Oh, God.
I didn't say that. I
think, oh, why did you do that? Why are you standing there like that? Why don't you do something? I can start talking back to the screen. But no, and then I mean, if it's a movie that Bogey and I were in together, I very often, you know, will watch for a while as I remember the moment and what was happening in my life at that moment, or in our lives at that moment. And that's fun, because that's healthy, and that's, you know, and that was lots of laughter. And of course, I live for laughter.
Do you remember the first time you met him, the first time you laid eyes on him?
Yes, I do. Actually, I was brought on the set of Passage to Marseille, a movie that he was making with Michelle Morgan and directed by Michael Curtiz, by Howard Hawks, who brought me on the set before I had tested, actually, for the part in To Have and Have Not, and introduced me to him. And it was quite uneventful.
What did you think?
Well, I really didn't, you know. I mean, he was not my favorite. He wasn't my dream man then. I was in love with Leslie Howard, of course, whom I never met. And then Howard had told me that his idea was that he would either put me in a movie with Bogart or Cary Grant. And I thought, Cary Grant, fabulous. And of course, that never happened. And I often wonder what would have happened if it had happened.
So you obviously it wasn't instant love with Bogart, but
no. But it was also how do you do? It was very brief because he was working, and it was just how do you do. And then I tested for the part, and then I got the part, and then I saw him when he was coming out of Howard Hawks' office, and I was going in, and he had just seen my test before we started to shoot, and he said, "Oh, we'll have a lot of fun together." And I thought, oh. I didn't think anything of it, but little did he know the kind of fun he was going to have.
When did you know? When did they say that a man falls in love often faster than a woman, but they say most often a woman knows. When did you know? I mean, after this, when did you think, okay, I'm going to marry this guy?
Oh, I didn't think that for a long time.
Oh.
He was married.
Yes, it was not a happy marriage.
No, it was a mess. But he was the kind of man who just, if he had made a commitment and he usually stuck with it. He was not a man to just take off. But I actually think he went for me first, in actual fact.
Clever man.
And it was it was not anything that he was accustomed to doing at all. And it was fun. I mean, it was exciting and it was fun. And I was 19 at the time, so I knew nothing about anything. And so it's all very exciting, isn't it? And so I don't think the realization of the totality of it really hit me until later on.
One of the things you're doing now is you talk about the fact that, and you referred to it earlier, that in your life now you find yourself his teachings or the things you learned from him are coming back to you and come through. Do you find yourself sometimes saying things and say to yourself, oh, wait a minute, that's a Bogart?
Well, I don't actually say that, except I'm so aware, and it's what kind of made me laugh as I was writing this, because I thought I hadn't really realized it, but that I seem to be saying things and responding to people and reacting to what people say to me in very much the same way that he did. And my attitude is very much like his was. So I think that it just kind of permeates your whole being, and before you know it, I don't look like him, but I kind of am the reincarnation. I don't know.
Do you like your own voice? When you know how most of us...
I don't listen to it. I think it's a bad thing for actors to do anyway. You can't listen to your own voice.
But you are so known for, it's your voice. People will hear your voice in the television and go, oh, that's Lauren Bacall's voice. When you hear it, do you like the sound of your voice? Do you think it's a...
I tell you, I don't dwell on myself that much.
No?
I really don't. No, it's very odd. I just don't. I'm not so enamored of myself that I really do listen. I don't... I'm sometimes listening to hear how it sounds, but sometimes it's on very often, and I don't want to hear it all the time. And some of it's funny, Sometimes some of the things I have to say in the voiceover, but I don't do that many. You see, I only do 2 of them.
You only do 2
voiceovers. I do. Is that what you're speaking of?
Oh, right.
Commercial?
Yeah. What I was trying to, yes.
Oh, you mean in a
I forgot
movie.
that you did 2 voiceovers.
Yeah.
I was just referring to your voice, but I forgot that your voice
but
is
it's
out
not.
there.
But the only time that I listen to my voice is if I hear it unexpectedly, and I say, oh, I guess that's me,
When I was reading this and listening to it, because you did do, there is a video cassette that goes with the book now, and I was in my mind thinking, wonder why Lauren Bacall wrote this book. And then as I listened to the book, I kind of found 3 levels for me. One I found, and probably I guess the most important, is any woman who's starting to feel that she's moving along in life and getting up in years.
Oh, God.
No. Wait a minute. And all
up and out.
Well, I'm right there with you, and so are a lot of others. But you go through things as a woman. You go through times when you feel, oh, I'm too old, I'm kind of insecure, I'm a little bit afraid, I'm worried about this. And when I hear all of the things you have to say in here about your children leaving, and there's so much in it that I can identify with as a woman, I thought she wrote for women, I think, because people won't believe that you're insecure. People will not believe that.
Well, they don't have to believe it, but I think it's a logical fact of life for most people that you present the persona that you need to present to get through life. That isn't necessarily the way you are.
Right.
Especially if you're on your own a good deal. But I don't think about Aging very much.
None of us do very much. Really.
No, I just think it's a nightmare. Because in America, I don't know if it's true of Canada, but certainly the press, they put a number next to your name, and that immediately tells audiences what you are. I mean, when you're 20, you're desirable and you're a little cutesy, and at 30, you're kind of moving away a little bit from that. You're not as perfect as you were when you were 20. Then at 35, it gets a little bit further away. 40, look out. Start moving toward the door and going into an executive position. Right. And then at 50, of course, everything stops, you know, you're over the hill. And from then on, it's downhill.
Excuse me, I think I'm going to get a drink now.
No, but I mean, that's true. You're put in a slot, you know.
Right, and then your children leave, and
categories, and then you say, then what? Then what?
Right.
And I really resent it, because I really feel that there is no reason for whatever age you are to stop you from doing whatever you want to do. I think whatever you are capable of doing is what you can do, and whatever you are capable of having, you can have. And I don't think age has a damn thing to do with it. I mean, I know women in their 70s and 80s who found new life. I mean, look at the women that graduate from high school at the age of 60. I mean, it's extraordinary what people have been able to do. And I think women have the guts to do it.
But also what has happened, yes. Not only is what you say true, but women have also bought into this theory that by the time we go through 30, 40, and head towards 50 and 60, that we are washed up. So when you read this, and there's so many wonderful things in here that you share with women about, and then it's a tremendous feeling of security, then to know that we are all a little insecure, including Lauren Bacall, makes you feel, oh, okay, I'm okay. We can talk about these fears.
Sure, yeah.
The other thing I think you wrote this book for it, because I said there were three things. One was a connection for other women. Two was for your children. I thought if I could write something that I would want my children to read, that would encourage them to know how I feel and to go on with their lives, this is the kind of stuff I'd like to say to my kids.
Oh, well, I'm really glad to hear you say that, because obviously my children's reaction to what I wrote was the most important thing to me. And they read it before anyone else did. And I told them, I said, if you want me to change anything or take anything out, now's the time to tell me, because once it goes to print, they won't be able to change anything. And none of them wanted me to change anything. They were happy with it. They thought it was the way things are. And they understood the way I feel about things, because, as you say, you can't say it, really, but you can write it. It's much easier to write everything that you feel, for me at least, than it is to say everything.
Why is that?
Well, because when you're sitting and looking at someone, you know, you get very emotional, and you become somewhat inarticulate, and then your mind goes blank maybe, and it sounds funny. It comes out rather haltingly. But in writing it, I really was able to write what I feel, and no interjections on their part, by the way, which also makes it flow better. I was able to write what I feel, the good and also the not so good, and not be judged by it while I was doing it, so that it was all true and it all followed, and they appreciated it.
The thing that surprised me, I suppose, and yet when I think about it, it makes sense, that because you are who you are and what you've become, you end up in a position in life where people are either intimidated by you or respond to you in that way. Well, but they do, because you are who you are, and you end up being a bit lonely because you're Lauren Bacall, and everybody figures you've got this perfect life. Yeah.
No, but
even if you want to go to a movie, you said you had to call. I mean, you just can't walk out and go to a movie.
I don't walk out and go to a movie, no, because I would be too self-conscious to do that. But
Do you ever go out disguised or anything like that?
No.
Oh, okay. Well,
I'd feel like an idiot if I did that. No, I just, no, this thing of being alone is partially by choice, because there are many aspects of it that are very appealing, of course. I mean, I live fairly selfishly because I really only basically have to please myself.
And that's the beauty of being alone.
Yes, I mean, that's one of the pluses, one of the perks. Also, if you want to walk around with your hair hanging in your face, you can. You
Or
don't
whatever.
have to dress up or whatever. And if you don't want to have a conversation, you don't have to have one. Or you know, there are several perks to being alone. And also in my profession, I'm with people a lot. So sometimes the silence of being alone is good for me. But obviously, you do miss the companionship of someone, especially the sharing of really good things that happen, you know, much more than, you know, there's always someone to share things with when things go wrong. But when things are really going well, you really want someone to share the good times. And so, I mean, I do miss it from time to time, but I'll tell you, it's not, I don't even know if you'd call it loneliness. I think lots of people are lonely. I've been lonely married, and that's not, that's the worst of all possible lonelies. But I feel that it's really more about being aware of the fact that you are alone. I think what bugs me a lot, and has, I mean, finally really became a thorn in my side, was the fact that I was so sick of making decisions by myself. That I had made so many decisions for each of my children, and for myself, and for the house, and for where I live, and for how I live, and what should I get for dinner, and I thought, I'm so bloody tired of it, and not having anyone else who could say, you do it this time, it's
right.
you know, and then you become really aware that you're doing, you know, all of it by yourself, and then that kind of bugs me a bit. But listen, you can't have everything.
No,
God knows I've tried, but you can't have everything.
Just going to read you this just before we go to commercial here. But recently, this is from Lauren Bacall's book now, but recently I have actually experienced a new awakening, a sense of it being possible, of there being someone for me to love somewhere. To find out if that person has shown up yet, since that was written, we'll be back right after this. We are back with Lauren Bacall, who's written her second novel. This one is called Now. And I did read that. Since this has been written, has someone shown up? Was there a knock at the door?
Well, I haven't checked since I've been here, but I haven't.
So far, no. There's a game that they play. It's a word association game. If I say a name, can you just tell me the first thoughts that come to your mind?
If I dare, I will.
You dare. If I said Vivien Leigh?
I think of Laurence Olivier.
If I said Laurence Olivier?
Joan Plowright.
Okay. If I said...
Confused?
No. They were close. She was first and Joan Plowright was second.
Right.
John Huston.
Oh, just John Huston.
Okay, I'll give you one more name here. Let's see. Frank Sinatra.
Music.
Yes, very diplomatic. Yes. And if you vote for...
You said that you didn't watch your own films, but do you have a favorite film out of any that you've made?
No, I didn't quite hear everything you said.
I understood from the preliminary that you didn't watch too many of your films, but do you have a favorite film out of all the ones you've made?
Well, I don't have one favorite, but I have several favorites, actually, that I really enjoy. I mean, Designing Woman I loved. That was great fun. That was for me.
Is there an actress, when you think of the actresses of today, are there a few that pop to your mind that when you see them you think they're marvelous, they're wonderful?
Well, I think so, yes. I think there are some whose work I've loved in specific movies. I love Jessica Lange, for example, in this new movie, this Blue Sky, a Tony Richardson movie. Is a wonderful movie, and she's fabulous in it.
Okay, next question.
Miss Bacall, I would like to know, how have you managed to stay so slim?
I'm covering it up.
I'm wondering, did you own any shares at Elaine's in New York? Twice in my lifetime I've been there, and both times you and I sat back to back. That, along with Humphrey Bogart's memorabilia in the restaurant, I was wondering if there was a connection.
Absolutely none.
Really?
Sorry, except Elaine, who I'm very fond of. No,
Same
that's
here.
All.
Yes.
Yes, Ms. Bacall, I'd like to know why you prefer to live in New York and not Hollywood.
Well, I was brought up in New York. I grew up in New York. And I feel that my roots really are there. And of course, I moved back there when I left Hollywood after Bogey died. And I went to England to make a movie. And I came back to New York to be in a play. And my mother was there and my family were there. And it seemed to me the logical place for me to be. And actually, I was fated to be there as I was in a play. So it seemed to me that it was my destiny. And I stayed. And then, of course, when I married Jason Robards, he lived in New York. He was in the theater. And I devoted more time to the theater. So it seemed completely right. And I have a great apartment there. And I think it's a much healthier place for a woman alone to live. I think there are many more things you can do there. It's not so focused on movies and television. There's another world out there, and I want to be part of all of it. I'm greedy.
One of the words that you use to describe yourself is the word restless, a woman who loves to travel. And I think, although you live in New York, am I correct? Do I recall that your heart is in Paris?
My heart. I love Paris. Yes, Paris is a very emotional city for me.
Do you have an apartment there?
No. I can't afford to live like that. An apartment in Paris, an apartment in flat in London. I'd love to have it all, but I can't. No, but I was just there for 4 months making the Robert Altman movie, Pret-a-Porter.
Oh, Pret-a-Porter, of course.
Yes, and so I go to Paris all the time, and the most time I've ever spent there at once is like 5 weeks or something. But this time I was there for 4 months, and it was fabulous. And I mean, I have a very emotional attachment to it. And I have had from the first time I ever went there in 1951, when I was hardly born.
In the movie Pret-a-Porter, they use your nickname. They call you Slim in the movie.
That was Altman's doing.
I mean, what is your role in the movie? You are a...
I am an ex-editor of Vogue, who has spent her life in the fashion world. And I come to Paris for the collections with a cowboy bootmaker from Texas in the person of Lyle Lovett.
Oh. How delightful.
And so we are together all the time, only Lyle, it turns out, are interested in the models. He's interested in the models, not the boots. And I'm trying to sell the boots, and there's some funny stuff that goes on there.
One last question before commercial.
Hi, I'd like to know, do you prefer doing Broadway or films?
Well, I really, Broadway, you see, the stage for an actor is really the most rewarding because you have immediate audience reaction and you have a connection with people and it's a live happening and what happens at each performance will never happen again. And that's exciting. And also, on the stage, it's in an actor's control. You know, when the curtain goes up, it's our piece. In a movie, which is a totally different medium, but which is great fun to do, it is in the control of a director. The director cuts the movie the way he chooses, and your part can either be better or worse, depending upon his point of view. In movies, you have more of a life. You have more time to yourself, and you also very often travel on location, you see, as I just demonstrated, Paris.
Would you consider doing television?
Yeah, yes. Oh, no, I've been on television, but I have not been in a series because frankly, no one has ever presented an idea for a series that really fascinated me. But I would like to be on television more, but not I mean, I'd like to be in a miniseries if there is such an animal around and alive with a pot for me. We're going to
take a break and back with Lauren Bacall right after this. When we started this interview, I said that I thought that there were three things that I found in the book, or three reasons you wrote to women about your family, and the other one was about the world of acting. I learned so much, such great insight into how actors learn and how they're supposed to listen and how you do something before you
prepare a little bit, yes.
Yeah.
You have to think, yes.
It was like a little course in acting if I ever thought that I wanted to get, you know. Oh, that's how they do that, I thought, you know.
Yeah, well, it's... I mean, I'm not a teacher, certainly, but I think that I think it was a lesson that I learned that you have to think before the scene starts. You don't just wait for action and then walk out there with a blank you know, with a totally blank
Yeah,
expression
you've been
on
doing
your face.
something, yeah.
Yes, you have to think of where you've been and what your life is, you know, to some degree.
One thing that a lot of us never experienced, because I suppose only actors or perhaps Robert Palmer, who's our next guest, would have a similar experience, is that high you talk about. You said that one of the greatest experiences, the greatest highs, was during applause. So seldom do you reach that.
Oh.
What is it?
Well, it's very hard to come by, and I was very lucky to have had it. It just is, applause was the kind of the realization of my childhood dream of being in a musical. And it was a wonderful show with a great company, great score. Everything worked in that show. And Ron Field, who directed it, had choreographed a curtain call for me that was extraordinary, because everyone in the show had taken their calls and they ended up in a V on stage. Right. And at the top of the V, I would stand way upstage with my back to the audience. And as the orchestra was playing, and at a certain moment, I turned around, swirled around, arms up, and the whole audience, because they hadn't known where I was coming from, and the whole audience just went wild. And it was such a shot of 9,000 shots of adrenaline. I don't know what it was, but it was the most extraordinary feeling, because that connection with an audience and the fact that they loved the show so much and that they enjoyed what I did and I connected with them, and that's something that just does not happen very often. And when it does, there is nothing that can top it. I mean, it's an amazing experience.
You talk about your work and your drive throughout your life, and now the next project, and how you always enjoyed your vacations when you knew you had a film coming up, when you knew you had some work.
Except I've never really taken a vacation. I really don't understand.
You've never?
No, I don't understand vacations. You know, I was brought up by a working mother and in a working family, and so the work ethic was always number one to me.
Right.
And my only thought when I got out of school was that I get a job, not that I do anything else. And so I don't get vacations because, first of all, I travel a lot in connection with work, so it seems that I'm always going someplace. And I just cannot imagine myself going somewhere just to sit.
You have to do something.
It just doesn't make it. I have to have a reason to go wherever I go.
Do you paint? Do you?
No, unfortunately, it's a lovely vision, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
I don't paint. I have no talent for it. I don't sculpt. I don't do any of the things that one would like to believe that one can do.
But you're a collector of sorts.
Well, I've stopped that.
You've
I
stopped
think
it,
it's time to stop collecting.
Yeah, time to give it away a little bit.
Yeah, it's time to get rid of it as well.
We only have a minute left, but the book is called Now, and it's a wonderful book, and I marked a little passage. I mean, there's so many beautiful passages that I liked. If you look at this book, you'll see that I really have enjoyed it. I've got it well marked, as you can see, but
She's fabulous, isn't she?
I marked this little page here. I thought maybe if you wouldn't, just from...
I will indeed. I can't remember that I wrote this.
Well, you'll like it. It's very good.
The strange thing is that as you grow older, along with knowledge, the pain of losses, the changes in your life, in your work, even the physical changes we all unhappily must experience, the thickening of the waist, the lines, oh, did I write that? The sags, oh my God. Even with all that and more, you don't stop wanting and needing to recapture the feelings you had when you began. I haven't stopped. That's the great surprise of life, and the great hope, the unknown factor that keeps you going, no matter how black the future seems at times, the not knowing what may be waiting for you around the corner, the fact that with each ending comes a new beginning.
Lauren Bacall.
Oh, that's a sag.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's a wonderful book. Thank you for it. Thank you for dropping by.
Thank you so much.
We're going to take a break. We'll be back in just a moment. The book is called Now. It's by Lauren Bacall.